Hello everyone, and thanks for coming back. This is part 4 of the garage finishing series. I hope that you guys are enjoying it. I know that this is definitely a big step in the right direction for what I see this garage as, and it's a lot of work. Construction, this type of stuff is not my wheelhouse. But we're getting it done nonetheless, and it's looking great, as you guys already know. I think it's looking great. I don't know what you guys think yet. But in this evening's video, we're going to be finishing off the garage walls. So above the front garage and the back garage here definitely needs to be finished. That way I can continue on with the ceiling. I'm going to work on the back one first because I'm going to actually be removing the 2 shelves right there and right there. I'd have to remove them anyways to put the ceiling in. And I'm going to relocate those right back there, right above that garage door. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge because there's a few 2x4s sticking up. If you guys remember when I put that 8-foot piece on the side, that 2x4 was kind of out. We're going to have to work around that. But regardless, we're gonna figure it out. And it's going to be fun. And honestly, once we get the walls done, the ceiling is actually the easiest part. Those pieces just go up and they sit there. I mean, you don't have to cut very much. I mean, it's really easy. So the next big step is just get the walls done, and then once the ceiling's in, we just gotta blow insulation, put in our heater, and we're doing really good. So it's gonna be fun. Let's get to it. Alright, we got that one on. You can see the new white outlet. I plan on changing everything to white. It looks so much nicer. And I just got it screwed about halfway, so I'm going to screw it up the rest of the way. And then we got a little piece on the inside to put on. And then we can focus on the top. Both pieces around the door are done, and now we have to do the top. I was going to take an 8-foot piece and cut it with the door header inside of the cut, but when I measured from the top of the door to the top of the or the bottom of the truss there, it's 4 foot in 1 inch or 4 foot 2 inches. So rather than have like a little goofy gap at the top here, I'm just going to cut one small 35 by 16 3/8 piece and put it above the door, and then put one piece up above here that should, I'm thinking 8 feet might take me all the way to this piece. If not, I'll put the long piece here and another short piece in the back. That's kind of nice. It's like a wind. Oh. All right, we're gonna call this a night. Hello and welcome to day 2 on part 4 of the garage series. Last night I was doing some thinking and I realized it's definitely going to be time for a workbench space, because all of these things that are sitting in the middle go under or on top of a workbench, and they're going to have to move because I need to move around the snowmobiles and all this stuff is in the way. So today we're going to take some time and we're going to build a simple workbench. I'm going to be using what I have. This is a 1/2-inch piece of plywood. I got a bunch of 2x4s. We're just going to box it in with a couple of middle supports and put it up on the back wall. It's going to be 3 feet wide. That's 1 foot of toolbox on the back because I got those 2 red ones, and then 2 feet worth of working space, which should work out well for me. There we go. Real simple design. Might change over time, but for now, that's going to work out nicely. Just how I envisioned it. So I'm going to start putting some tools on here. It's going to get cluttered up right away. I just need the spot so I can get the tools off of the ground, really. So let's just take care of that real quick, and we can get back to sheetrocking. Okay, we got everything cleaned up. Like I promised, the workbench is overflowing with tools. I'm going to make some shelves, or I actually have some shelves I guess I could use for that. On the side, just for like the big stuff, like the skill saw and everything. To the right here, we just put all of the larger items that needed to be moved. And now, I can pretty much get access to the ceiling over there. But, in case you maybe haven't spied it yet, I also had Sam come out and help me put up this TV. It's pretty much where I want it. It's a little crooked. I think there's adjustments on the wall mount that I can straighten it out. But, you know, it's pretty crazy because that's on that wall joint that everybody was so concerned about. I just plugged it in and it kicked on, and this is what it started to play. Rambo in some other language. With subtitles. So I messed with this thing for a little bit. I had it on motion detect, but when I walked out there, I don't know what trips it. I'm not really sure, but I got it on here now. I'm actually on channel 7, so I got the 3 other cameras I need to hook up. And this one needs a little bit of a adjustment, so I think I'm gonna do them a little bit differently. But regardless, I'm actually really happy with that quality. I mean, look, you can see like inside of my car, so that's pretty interesting. Anyways, where were we here? That was 3. Oh yeah, Rambo, come on back. Oh yeah. As you watch me work, if you are listening, this is just a YouTube Survivorman Bigfoot series. I love Survivorman. I've always kind of watched him since he first came out. So if you hear that, that's what's going on in the background. It's keeping me company while I'm out here and motivating me. Oh There, we got some poly up there. We got them crisscrossing. I have to remove the brace for the garage door. That's just two, I believe they're 7/16. Alright, we got the second piece up. Got Dad on the big screen. We're gonna get to work.
Turned the water on. And then I went and put another, was it half or 5/8? Has some heat to it already. You can see it heating up the water on the dumpster.
Okay, we got everything up there and even saved some space. I was able to put the solar panel up there and my heater. That's a propane Mr. Heater. I think it's 80,000 BTU. If everything goes as planned, I'll be selling that. But now I have to remove the two legs for this brace for the garage door, and then that'll be dropped down and I will staple up the poly. And there's enough there where I can squeeze another sheet on this existing piece of poly. So I'm pretty excited. What I'd like to get done tonight is obviously this whole area going to the wall and in that hallway. And if I get enough time, if I finish that, maybe I'll do the shelf that's gonna go from here over another 8 feet. Yep, no vapor barrier. Nice.
Said it worked good, and I test drove it at his house.
These
So we got the service door all finished up, and now I want to get the piece above the garage door done. Here's the measurements for it. We got 99 on top, which is more than 8 feet, so we're going to see how that works. 92.5 and 6.5 for that 2x12. So unfortunately, the total length on top is 99, and that's more than an 8-foot sheet by just a tiny bit. So we're gonna see what how it actually fits up there, because the one on the left is just a full 8-foot sheet, so it might fit really close, and maybe I can just put a little tiny shim, like a 2-inch or a 3-inch piece in there, and it'll just kind of fit in there nice. Or, you know, it might magically fit. But it's cold in here tonight, really cold. This is all the more reason why I want to get the heat. So it's under 30 degrees in here, and outside it's just been blowing snow and it's real windy. And it's not bad in here, except for I'm working up top, and And like over there when I was working, I could feel the draft coming through on the eaves, right? Because they're just wide open. So at least over here it's a little better. I was gonna fire up the heater, but I packed them all up on top of the shelf, and it wouldn't do me any good because it would all just go up and leave. So there's that wind. All the more reason to hurry up and get this done so that we can continue on. All right, we got that piece up there, and I put my little cheater piece in between. By the way, my camera went to a different setting, and the ISO on it is way brighter now, so hopefully that works for you guys. I think it looks good through the viewfinder, but I'll know more when I actually go through the editing process. So yeah, I think that's pretty good for this evening. We got around the door all finished up. We got that shelf out of there. Just getting that shelf out of there, you can see it brightened up that area quite a bit. It's getting echoey in here, but it looks real nice. I like it a lot, how it's coming out so far. Okay, so I just did a little math here. So this little chart is for 1,000 square feet, and so I took the 25 and I divided it by 1,000 and then times it by 650, and that's 16.25. So I'm gonna be right in between R44 and R49, which is really good. You know, I'd like to be at R60, but I think considering the fact that the garage doors have a relatively low insulating value, and there's going to be drafts like single pane windows and just around the doors in general will have a little draft. I think that between these two is plenty of insulation for what I got going on here. Yeah, this will work. Got you set up on the propane tank. So first of all, let's plug in what we already had. Since you guys have seen them up here, you can just get an idea. So there's that. It's a pretty raw light because there is no cover to it, but it's relatively bright. Just don't really stare at it. I'm kind of expecting this next one to be not as bright in that sort of a sense, but like a nice softer light. So let's see, I might have to pull cord on it and see. Yep, we're gonna pull this. Gonna mess with all our plugins here because there's a million of them. There it is. Ooh. Okay, that's like pretty bright too. That's actually like, I can barely look at that because it's so bright. Huh. I like that. That's nice. It's soft white, so it's a little easier on the eyes. Oh yeah, that's gonna work great. I like that. That's pretty good. Okay, now let's try this. I pulled the cord. I'm pretty sure this is gonna work. I pulled the cord. It's on. We're gonna turn it off like it would. No power through the socket. Click it back. Comes back on. So now let's just plug them side by side here. Oh yeah, this one is way brighter than the Hyper Tough. Now the Hyper Tough ones, I'm actually gonna move probably 2 of them up here above my workbench, and I'm gonna have like one of those 6 strip lights sitting here with them plugged in so I can just toggle it on and off. But yeah, between the two, I had my doubts about this new one here, and it's actually pretty bright. Can you guys see that okay? Oh yeah, you can see the difference on there. So that's good. That's gonna, I got 6 of them, and they say they're 3200 lumens. Here's what they look like. Here's the specs, I guess, if you're really interested. You can read all that. Starts reliable to -4. That's kind of important. So yeah, I got these two, and then I got a box of 4. And they're going to be right up here, evenly spaced. I'll measure it. It'll be 2, 2, and 2. And the good thing is I can always add more. Hey everyone, so it is Friday evening. I took the night off of work and I got 2 weeks off. Yes! For Christmas, so we can get back to our project here. But the light's a little different because it's actually kind of nice how it worked out. The plugins are on one breaker and the lights are on the other. So when I replaced the plugins, I had lights, and now when I replace the lights, I have plugins for like the shop light to sit in. So I did this one today just while Rose was taking a nap. So I got the new box up there, and I did test the light and I tested that, putting a light on it, and verified that it worked. So I'm just gonna finish that one up by getting everything back in the box. And then we got a couple more here. And I'm trying to remember here. I believe I'm going to move that light. It's hiding by the front of the bike tire. Move that one center, and then that gives this light a bunch of slack to be pushed back. Which actually, now that I'm actually looking at it, I think that this light is going to go center, and then this other one I'll actually run forward. Maybe I can get another 2-3 trusses out of it. And because these back lights are going to be sitting pretty much right here anyways, and I don't feel like cutting a new hole in the sheetrock and going through all that. So yeah, this actually doesn't take very long to do, so we should have this done within maybe an hour at most, and then from there we can start slamming some drywall up again. I'd really like to get the drywall done like tomorrow, but it's probably gonna take me at least tonight and tomorrow, if not the next day. But we'll get there. Okay, let's get to work. Alright, look at that. Turned out pretty good. Had a little bit more of a gap on the front of this outlet than I really wanted to, but that's fine. I had to run those wires through anyways, so that works. Now, we're pretty much on the home stretch. I suppose there's one more outlet. Yeah, there's one more outlet up here. But for the most part, we got pretty far. And now I'm kind of thinking, like, do I want to put some lights up, or do I want to finish this? I suppose I should finish this. There we go. It is all finished. I can't believe I got that done tonight. It took me, it is 1:34, so it took me 3 hours, which isn't bad. That's a half an hour per sheet. And especially making all those little goofy cuts for the outlets. So we got one outlet right there, one outlet right there, and where's the third one? And that issue is I sheetrocked over the first outlet, and there's no way to know like exactly where it is. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is take a ladder, climb up on in the rafters there and try to make a cut like in front of it so that I can cut the rest of the way around it. Okay, we found that outlet. Luckily I had a screw on the other side of the stud that I missed, so it was a pretty easy find, but we dug it out. So I got my 3 outlets, and tomorrow I plan on putting my lights up and then hopefully filling in some of those gaps. But it's actually kind of eerie out here for me just because I've come so far. You know, you start a project like this and you really don't know what to expect, and now here we are, and it's really looking completely different than how we started, and it's been far harder than I thought, and it's taken probably 3 times as much money. But I got like 4, possibly 5 sheets of sheetrock left. It's going to take at least another 1 there, and we might have 1, maybe 2 sheets left over. But oh, it's looking great. It looks huge in here. I still have to make my hole for the to get up into the attic, but we will do that another day. We're back, and today I had a little bit of time to myself. Sam took Rose out, and so I was able to hang 3 of the 6 lights. You can see I kind of have them centered in between the 2 rails, if you will, for the garage door. Looks really nice. So that's those 2. And then on this side we got the 1. So I'm going to work on getting the next 3 up. But it's freezing out here. It's like extra cold tonight. I'm shivering. So I'm going to get the propane heater going. Oh, I should have started this project a few weeks earlier because I could have just turned on the heat. But I'm going to get that propane heater going to take the edge off because it is cold in here tonight. So this is a vent channel, and it goes in between your rafters for your soffit. And up here in the corner, the last 2 truss spots there, goes to the front soffit. So before I put sheetrock up, I'm going to slap these up, and that way I don't have to crawl in there after the fact and do it when I'm insulating. And then we'll start putting the sheetrock up. Alright, now that we got the shelf in place and the bikes hung back up where they were, now I'm going to work on the attic access. Tonight I would like to just get the hole cut, and then I can work on the framing of it another day. But the electrical wires for up above run pretty much together from outlet to outlet. So I'm actually going to go over here and cut a hole in between, centered like right here. Okay, and there is the access hole. 2 foot by 2 foot, because that's the spacing in between. And yeah, little electric where the old light used to be is up there. Suppose I could show you guys that a little closer. Oh, So right there, that's where the light used to be. I had just pushed it up in there, but now that I'm gonna be right there, I'll rip it out. And then, like I said, I'll add studs from left to right. And when I climb up in, I'll actually climb up in backwards like this, right up in there. So I kind of like that angle. I think it'll work out nice for me. Climb back down here. So that's all I'm doing tonight. And like I said, you put trim around the edge up top there so that this piece sits on the trim. And then on the back of this piece, I'll glue like, I don't know, 6 or so layers of one of those density foam boards. I'll cut it to size and I'll put a bunch on there, and then that's what keeps it sealed against all the other blown in insulation. So I got my trusty wife. You guys all know she's decked out and ready to go. We got masks on. I'm gonna actually put a second mask on because this is fiberglass and I don't want to breathe it in. But she's gonna be feeding the hopper, and I'll have the GoPro on up top and I'll be blowing it around. So yeah, it shouldn't take too long. I hope.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Turn it on. Okay, so 15 bags later, let me take you up the ladder and show you how much went in there. I was unsure at first, and then I had told Sam, I said, hey, let me know when there's 3 bags left. And when I was up there, I thought I heard her say something, but she didn't, so I thought we were done. And she's like, yeah, we got the 3 bags. I'm like, what? So then I went and was kind of able to re-blow some of the areas I thought were a little weak or whatever. Oh, I suppose it's gonna be dark. So hard to really get a view, but this is 3.5 inches, and then goes up another, I don't know, I thought we were gonna be, you know, R49 or R45 or whatever, but after putting it all in here, I think that we're at probably an R60. That was a lot. Needless to say, I'm happy that Sam helped me, because that would have taken a really, really long time by myself. But I gotta wrap all this up and get it ready, because tomorrow it has to go back. It's the next morning. It's just before 7 o'clock. And we got to get this thing loaded and taken in. I was going to load it last night, but it got a little late. But at least I have it ready to go. So let's get her loaded up, get the car started, and head on out. Alright, well, it started to sleet, and now the snow has started. We'll see how much we get. Okay, so I thought I would bring you guys up here to get an idea of just how much insulation we put in. It is freezing up here. Like, this is how cold the garage would be, because the vents are just open to the outside. Wow, it's freezing. So you can just see, it's really hard to actually see, but we got a lot of fluff up here, and you can see how it's almost all the way up to the top of the roof. But this garage has the roof, the peak vent, and Oh wow, it's very insulation-y up here. And then it also has the soffit vents behind us on the back side of that, and a little bit on the far front corner. So lots of air movement up here, in case you're wondering. You can see the breeze coming through on those pieces that are hanging off of old spider webs. So that's good. That used to be in the garage, all this air. It's actually, I can see my breath up here. It is freezing. I think outside right now the real feel is like around negative 15. Let's go take a peek at the garage thermometer, because it feels good in the garage. Once I seal this up, I bet the garage will be a lot warmer, because all this cold air is going right through the attic hole right here and down into the garage. So, wow, it's freezing. Okay, let's go do that. But I will say, even with the attic being open, it's really a lot warmer in here than it was. Right now the real feel from the wind outside is probably about negative 12. It's hovering just below 30 in here. And when I was up there, I blew a bunch of insulation above the mudroom here. He just had like a double layered bat put up there, and that room is a lot warmer now too, so that's really nice. The floor in there was really cold before, and I think it was just the cold air sinking. Tonight I'm going to be cleaning up all of this mess, and then I'm going to be putting in the that foam board on the back of the piece of sheetrock so I can close that up. And I might run the gas heater in here a little bit to see how well it insulates. The wind was actually blowing so hard. I had the door open to grill, but the wind was blowing so hard insulation was coming out of the attic. So I got to get that closed up, because it makes like a wind stream. Okay, I'm just gonna sweep all this up and get it bagged. I won't bore you guys with that. Then we'll get to the fun part. Okay, so here's that foam. 3 of these pieces, 3 inches, is roughly R15. I have 8 inches of it, so I should be R40, R45. So this is what the final product looks like. It didn't turn out as nice as I thought, so I'm gonna end up redoing this. But that was just some baseboard trim, or no, it's actually like door trim that I had found up in the rafters before I did this, so I just used what I had, and it's good enough for now. I felt around and it doesn't have any leaks or nothing, so that'll work for the time being. Okay, this is a Comfort Zone 7500 watt with remote. Puts out 25,600 BTUs max. My garage is just under 650 square feet with 11-foot tall ceilings. It only need 18,500 or something like that. These are adjustable, so that's nice. You can push them way down towards the ground. On the side here, you got your 3 different angles for your hanging. Straight, down more, and pretty much we just have to pop the cover, and the wire goes through here. So we'll look up the directions. I think I'm going to take this bottom cover off, I believe. That should probably do it. So let's show you that. Okay, so your wire is going to get fished through here. They got 2 different sizes. The large size is if you're using conduit, which I will be, so we'll probably use that. right here you got 1 hot, 2 hot, and then your ground, I believe, will be this one. So, pretty easy. So this is earth ground, that'll be earth ground. Circuit board, real simple, and this would be thermostat, I believe. So you can hook these up to a thermostat. Okay, here is the office. I don't have my guitars hanging up like I did at the last place, but we'll get there. Regardless, right here is the panel. It has all the power, and it looks like it has enough slots for our 50 amp. And if you guys remember the layout of the house, right above me is the kitchen, and then you go through the kitchen in the mudroom, there's a little bump out there, but in the garage it bumps back. So if you think about that layout, it's important because if I look right over here, you see that line on the left going straight up? That is the water line for the fridge. So this is, or should be, the last beam for the floor. So I'm hoping I can hog a hole through this and it should pop me right out into the garage, as long as I have a long enough bit. And this should sit right on top of the the block foundation. So I was gonna try to do some fancy measuring and get it right in the corner, but I don't think there's really a need for that. Let's just hog a hole through here and see where we're at, and we'll go from there. I want to do that before I run any wires because I got to make sure I can get through. So okay, let's do that first. Okay, here we are. Looks like I drilled a second hole, but that's fine. I'm gonna just route it up and over to see where we're at. And on the outside here, this is that conduit it'll be running in. I'm just doing that because if for whatever reason you know, you bump it with something that's sharp, you're not going to get electrocuted to death. 50 amps, 220, I mean, that's a lot. So I just want that on the outside here. I don't expect this line to move very much at all. It's kind of going to be tucked away, but you just never know, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. So it's just going to go right up, turn the corner and come out, and we'll see where it lands out here. Alright, so we got the conduit ran, the wires going inside of it, and the heater's going to sit pretty much, I think, right in the middle there, blowing down. I have to double check with how much wire I have, but it should sit somewhere right up in there. The silver leg is what they sent, and it's just not going to be long enough for anything, so I got some of these bigger ones. This thing isn't going to rock around like crazy, but I don't even think that this leg would make it through the sheetrock. So we are, that's what we're going to do. Alright, that's wired in. Okay everyone, so I wanted to give it a few weeks and see if I could get an electric bill at the end of this video to show you guys how much it would cost. But it hasn't came in yet, and I'm to the end of editing this video. So with that being said, I've been out here I was off around Christmas, and I probably averaged about 4 hours of that thing running per day, roughly. And then on top of that, on 2 different occasions, I accidentally left it on from about 8 o'clock at night until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. And by leaving it on, I mean I left it on as high as it could go. But it'll heat it up in here really fast. I just got home, had some dinner after work here, and it's been maybe a half hour at most. And it's probably at least 50 degrees in here. That up top there, it's registering, that's about 72 degrees. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Regardless, from what I can tell between my last bill and this bill, I believe I think it's about about like $70. But like I said, I ran this thing a lot, and on top of it, XL, who carries this area, had a big increase, and a lot of people were complaining about it, so I have to get a new baseline and then work from there. So that's kind of, I'll have to do an update video to show you guys the difference in my bill. So if you'll hang out with me on that, I'll update you guys during like the snowmobile videos or whatever. But let's just, I'll show you guys what I got going on here, and then that's basically it. And I'll add this is not my new vehicle. Sam and I actually bought a minivan, and it went in today for the undercoating and rust protection package, and this is the loaner that they gave me. So although the minivan is a Dodge, I am really not a big fan of Dodge pickup trucks in the slightest. And if I had to pick, I'd probably pick Ford, then Chevy, and never Dodge. I think a Dodge is like an acquired taste. I don't like how you sit in them, I don't like how they drive, yada yada. But that's just my opinion. But I thought I'd add that in there because somebody probably is gonna say something about it. So anyways, this is the simple fan and heater setup that I have. The fan is just a $20 box fan at Walmart. They only had blue, so just went with it. And all I did was just hung it up there with some chain and then ran an extension cord all the way across to here, and I just have to toggle it on and off. At first I had it so that it would just run off the light switch, but then I found if I wasn't using the heat, it just created like a really cold breeze, and I wasn't really into that. So I toggled it on this side here. And then I had done some reading, and people said you want to face the fan up, and you want to and then other people are saying face it down. I would say face it down. This is my trial right now of it facing up, and I don't feel like nearly the same amount of heat will is transferred that way. And then of course you got the heater, and it heats it up really nice in here. If you run this thing for probably 4 hours, you're easily out here in a t-shirt. And the one night it was probably just a little warmer outside or whatever, and I was actually sweating out here in a t-shirt. So it does warm it up really nice in here. And the biggest question though is, how much is that electric bill gonna cost? That's my biggest question, at least. So yeah, so that's pretty much the setup there. I moved my shelf from the workbench side over to this other side, and my reasoning for that is when it was by the workbench, it became a clutter collector, and I don't like that. I want it to just be like tools and, you know, what we have on there. So that's why I moved it, just to help with that, and so far it seems to work. And then obviously here's the workbench in all of its glory. So that's basically it. But I've been spending a lot of time out here, and it has worked perfectly. Alright, so that is the ending to finishing the garage. It all kind of started when somebody commented and said I needed better light, and that kind of spurred it. So we are going to be getting back into the small engines. In fact, I just got the final parts, hopefully, for the Skidoo here, and of course we got the Polaris, but it's just hanging out back. And then after that, we have to go get Grandpa's four-wheeler. As you guys know, it's all, I don't know if it's wrecked or not, but we're going to find out. So we'll go swap that out when I bring the snowmobile up to Dad. So yeah, that's essentially it. Thanks for watching the series, and I will see you in the next video.